This is my camera cart, and today I'm going to show you what's inside of my main camera case. All right, so the camera case in question is the Nanook 960. This has been my main camera case that I've been using for the past few years. The reason I like it is because it's actually deep and it has two compartments. So what you see here is not everything. There's more below, and I'm going to walk you through every single item that I have in here. So right now I'm obviously shooting on two cameras, but usually they would be in here. So I'm going to show you a picture of what that looks like when both of them are in the case. So it's kind of self-explanatory, but the layout is most of this is all just camera and this is all audio. That's kind of the rough way that I've structured this. And then below everything here, I have gimbal stuff. So my gimbal and handles and some XLR cables and stuff like that are also down there. And that's one of the main reasons why I like this case, is because it has two levels. But also, it's a Nanook case. So it's sturdy, it can take a beating, and it's Canadian. It's more affordable than Pelicans. So that's why I went with this. And I just love these pockets and I love how it looks and feels. It's a great case. All right, so let's get into the details of what's in here. This is where my FX3 would live, and this is where the A7 IV would live, like I said. What's this? This is just a little pouch that I keep here right next to the cameras that basically just has caps, the body caps or lens caps. Instead of just throwing them around randomly, well, sometimes I do that, but I mean, you know, sometimes I have time to be organized. When I do, I just keep them in a pouch like this. What I've got in here is a pretty old lens. It's a manual 80 to 200 millimeter f4.5, and I just have it adapted to Sony E-mount. And this thing I basically got for free because it's manual and old. Somebody gave it to me, and I just kept using it for corporate work because it works and it's sharp enough for, you know, speeches and getting wide shots of a conference or what have you. The only issue with it is it's a manual focus lens. It's not ideal, but free is free. Lens goes in here. In this little pocket right here, I have two things, a side handle for the FX3 and then the top handle that comes with the FX3. This top handle, I have a bunch of small rig accessories on it, like the extension handles and stuff like that. And both of these slide in here perfectly. And then this compartment is another lens. I've got a 50 millimeter f1.8 from Viltrox. That one goes on the side here. Oh, and by the way, in case you're wondering what lenses I'm using on these cameras, on that one, I've got a Sony 35mm 1.8, and on this one right here, it's a Sigma 2470. So those are all the lenses I own. Let's move on to the middle compartment. In this middle compartment, again, FX3 goes in here. This is a small rig matte box. This I use very occasionally, but when I do use it, it's really nice and handy. And it only cost about $100 at the time when I bought it, so not a bad investment. So if I take off this matte box, you'll see below it, I've got more things. I have a Ninja V. This Ninja V has been working for the past 3 years just fine, and I use it most of the time when I'm working with my gimbal. And in this same pocket, I also have a few other accessories like some HDMI cables, an extra SSD, and an SSD reader. So that goes in here. In this top pocket, I've got my headphones for monitoring audio, and then a Nisi pouch. This can take 2 or 3 filters. Decent way of storing filters instead of just throwing them around. They're pretty expensive. And then right below all of that, I have a bunch of MPF batteries, about 6 of them, because I've got a Ninja V and a few other lights, I think 1 or 2 that use MPF batteries. All right, and I'll just put this back. Headphones back on. All right, let's move on to this audio section. There's quite a bit of stuff in here. So first, I've got this guy right here. It's the Sennheiser MKE 600. This is a great boom mic. It's affordable and reliable. I've been using this thing for like the past 4 years. So, and it's perfect to use as a boom for interviews and that kind of thing. So that's the Sennheiser. I've also got another pouch here full of XLRs and different types of adapters that I use mostly for weddings. Because sometimes when you go and you want to hook up your Zoom H6, the DJ person or the audio person will ask for XLR or 1/4 inch or mini XLR or 3.5 millimeter jack, you never know. So I have a bunch of different adapters here in this pouch. Next, I've got a Zoom H6, trusty little Zoom H6. This is great, it's been working perfectly for the past few years. I do want to upgrade this to maybe the new Tascam or something else basically that can record in 32-bit float, this is great, but sometimes it's nice to be able to just hook something up and hit record instead of having to check the levels, you know, every 30 minutes or something. I have anxiety when I'm on a shoot sometimes, like a conference, for example, and every now and then I always go to double check that the levels aren't clipping or they're not too low, and I just don't want that question lingering in my head all the time. Although it's nice to go and check that your mic is recording anyway, even if you are shooting a 32-bit float, but I just want to have more peace of mind, thinking that, you know, if somebody yells during their speech or coughs or laughs or whatever the case might be, that it won't clip. And then in here I've got a Zoom H1. This sometimes I use as a handheld mic or as an additional recorder for a third lav. And then I've got another pouch here. Yes, quite a lot of pouches. Got another pouch here that houses all of my lavs. So in here I have two Deity PR2s, and I'm using one of them right now to record audio. And then on the other side of the pouch, I have a bunch of lavalier mics inside. Right next to those, I have a little oil filter thingies. They're just wipes to wipe off oily faces. This helps if you're shooting an interview or something like that and someone's face is really shiny or oily and you want to just dab them up a little bit. Right here next to the Zoom H6, I've got a few things that more or less have nothing to do with audio, but they're relevant enough. One is a multi-tool. This is where I keep the multi-tool in a small little pocket here. And I've got two things here, a bunch of rechargeable batteries and an actual charger for it. And this is my SD card holder, or a little SD card pocket thing. I've got a bunch of SDs in it, and I also have SD cards in the cameras, so I've filled this up. I might need another one soon. But yeah, those two things go in here. Let me put this back. Moving to this end here, I've got some SD card holders, these little plastic holders for the SD cards, because sometimes I have to give SD cards to other people and I don't want to just hand a naked SD, so I just keep a handful of these. And these are lavalier stick-ons, stickies, or whatever you want to call them. You can use these to easily hide lav mics inside of someone's shirt. And these are essential if you shoot interviews and you use lav mics for those interviews. These are a must-buy. You have to buy them. The brand doesn't matter. Just pick whichever the cheapest option is in your area. And here I got a few more things. I have a little shock mount for the boom that I use if I'm actually booming it on top of somebody. Some gaff tape. You can't go wrong with gaff tape. You gotta have it in almost every bag. And then some medical tape in case the lavalier stickies don't work for whatever reason. And then little power adapter. So this adapts from a wall to this guy, which is, 3 wall plugs, and then a bunch of USB power options too, which is really nice. And 2 of these are fast charging, so I could use this for powering things. And yeah, that's basically everything that is on the main compartment of this case. All right, I'm gonna move on to this top part right here. So in this strip of a pocket, I have all of the Sony batteries. So I've got them all right here lined up, and I actually use a little method where if the battery is flipped, then that means it's dead. But if the battery is not flipped, meaning if I can see the name tag, then that means it's ready to be used and it's fully charged. And then additionally here, I also have a little wall plug that adapts to a bunch of different high-speed USB-C power delivery methods. So if I want to charge stuff quick, or if I want to power my camera or other lights like this PT2C behind me, I can use this wall plug for it. So that also goes in here. I love these pockets because it keeps everything perfectly organized and you can see it all, even if you don't open up the pocket. On right here, this pocket, I just have a bunch of cleaning accessories. So lens cleaners and dusters and things like that. And then additionally, an NPF charger here for NPF batteries, the ones that were here inside. On this top one, I have 2 chargers, Sony chargers for just the cameras. One is the one that the camera comes with, and the other one is just a dual charger from Neewer. So both of those go in here. In this middle compartment, I've got a clusterfuck of things, honestly, in here too. So in these two, I'm gonna jump back and forth here a little bit. in these two, I have a bunch of cables. So these are high-speed USB-C cables, and they help power things or charge things quickly. I use them most of the time to power the Sony FX3 and A7 IV while they're shooting, so that I don't have to rely on their Sony batteries. Besides from cables, I have in this pocket two external, batteries, two portable batteries, and I use those to power lights and cameras wherever I go, or charge stuff. And then in here, I have another AA charger and 4 batteries, and a gray card. I use this gray card to white balance. And last but not least, a little filter opener. If your filter is stuck to your lens, you can kind of use this to unscrew the filter. Sometimes it doesn't work. And that is everything that is on the top compartment. Then I'm gonna lift this off. It's pretty fucking heavy. And then in here, I have the RS2, the DJI RS2. This has been my go-to gimbal for the past, I don't know, 4 years at this point, I think. 3 years. I would like to upgrade it to the RS4 Pro, but at the moment, I don't really need that kind of upgrade, and I'd rather just save the money for now. And of course, the actual gimbal legs, and I've got 2 of these side handles that go with it, and I use it all the time because these side handles make it easier for me to mount the Ninja V on one of the sides so that I have like a proper, little gimbal setup with a monitor. And I also have XLR cable, a long XLR cable for my boom mic, as well as an extension cable. And a few gimbal cables, and last but not least, yet another AA rechargeable battery. You can never run out of enough chargers and batteries, especially when a lot of audio equipment are still using AA batteries by large. The Zoom H1, the Zoom H6 takes like 4 of them at a time. The Sennheiser MKE600 takes 1 of them. The Deity PR2s take 2 each, I believe. So yeah, you need a lot of AA batteries and chargers for them, or normal AA's that are non-rechargeable. Oh, I'm gonna put that back in. Yeah. And that is the Nanook 960 and what I carry inside of it. If you have any questions, please let me know. There's affiliate links down below for every single product that I mentioned in this video. Also, this was graded with Dehancer, so if you like this look and you've been thinking about getting Dehancer, use the code below because you will get 10% off, and I will get commission off of that too. And I'm not gonna apologize for that.